Welcome, my dear audience and friends, to another episode of Cancer Convos with Grace B. This is your host, Grace B, coming to you from New York City, the city that never sleeps, and is home to Cancer Convos with Grace B. Just to let you know, as I always hop on the show, don't forget to do your medical checks because until there's a cure, prevention is the cure. In this episode, I'd like to discuss something very important, which is rare diseases. And for those of you who may not know, February the 28th was commemorated as Rare Disease Day. And I have something here that tells us a little bit about the stats. It shows that 300 million people are living with a rare disease globally. This day also seeks to heighten awareness about the patients and caregivers who undergo several rare disease diagnoses. And the National Organization for Rare Disorders lists and defines more than 1,200 diseases that fall under rare. 1,200 diseases under rare. And it is why in this episode, I'm inviting a very good friend, a lady I really love, admire, and respect to come and give us a synopsis about rare diseases and the organization where she's at that are doing so much in this regard. So Pam Cusick is the Senior Vice President of Rare Patient Voice, a trailblazing organization offering access to more than 100,000 patients and caregivers across 496 different conditions and counting. Linking patients and their caregivers with suitable trials and all that, or other opportunities, can be very challenging. And this is why RPV, as they're also known as, seeking to, close that care gap. So, without much ado, I would like to welcome Pam Cusick to the show. Welcome, Pam, and thank you so much for coming on.
Of course, thank you so much, Grace. I'm honored to be here, and I'm so thankful that we got to meet in person when I was in New York last, and I'm looking forward to our chat today.
Thank you so much. So, let us dive straight into the topic. And I would like to, for you to share your backstory, first of all, and how you got started in your career as a great woman of influence in research and science.
Thank you. So I started out actually enjoying research in college. So my I worked with my advisor. Her name was Susan Beers. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman in the
Mhm.
psychology department, and I helped her with some of the projects she was working on, administering surveys, analyzing data, and realized I really loved doing that. So for a minute, I went off to graduate school and thought I wanted to be a child psychologist, and quickly realized that really what I like is the research part of things. So I focused on that. And when I graduated, I went off to find a research position. It wasn't specifically looking in healthcare. I was really just looking in sort of social science research. So it could have been in education, it could have been in anything. But I happened to land at an amazing company in Washington, D.C. called the American Institutes for Research. And the first project I was on was for the FDA. And
Wow.
we were looking to find a better way. This was in the 80s. This was to find a better way to screen blood donors who were at risk for HIV.
Mhm.
So we were trying to find what was the best way to ask these questions so that people who were felt maybe pressured to donate would then screen themselves out confidentially so that the blood supply did not become tainted. So it was an amazing project. Those questions that we came up with and tested and validated are still used today in
Oh,
blood centers,
wow.
which is pretty amazing. So then I was hooked. I worked on some other education projects, some um, usability projects for the IRS. I mean, all kinds of crazy things, but went back to really liking the focus on healthcare. And I worked on an amazing blood donor project for the WHO. I worked for other projects for USDA on nutrition and really, kind of got my feet wet, at that first company working on some of these really interesting and impactful projects.
Mhm.
So I stayed in that area for, a good long time. And what I ended up doing was I gravitated more towards qualitative research. So quantitative research is more doing surveys and analyzing that kind of data. But qualitative research is when you talk to people.
Mhm.
So I really love doing focus groups. And so I focused really my career in doing that more qualitative. I still, had to do some quant research sometimes, but really focused more on the qualitative side of things. So interviewing patients about, their disease progression, interviewing them about, how it might be a focus group on how a particular public health campaign impacted these, the target audience that whether it was CDC or NIH was trying to reach. It was really, really interesting and fascinating stuff. And some of the things, I still see, from time to time, little touches of things that I worked on, which is pretty amazing.
Mhm.
Um, and then soon enough, I found myself working for Wes, who started Rare Patient Voice at a pharmaceutical market research company. So it was in the beginning of the time where you could advertise directly to patients on TV. So direct consumer
Mhm.
advertising, all those ads that we see now that, are
Yes.
on all the time and list all the great things, but all the risks and so on. That was just becoming that hadn't been allowed previously. So we worked at a company that had primarily focused on doing research for or with physicians, but
Mhm.
this new division was started and it was a consumer research division. So how do we talk to patients about their disease? What will impact them? What will make them um, interested in asking their doctor about a particular medication. And again, there's still things that I worked on there that I see now that are, because it takes a long time for some things to actually come to fruition. But
Yes.
so worked on, did that for some period of time. And then I actually took time off to raise my family and I did some part-time. I continued to do focus groups and work for other, mostly for all the companies that I worked with before.
Mhm.
And then Wes started Rare Patient Voice 10 years ago. And I said, hey, when you need somebody, let me know. And soon enough, he did. And so I've been here for almost 7 years now.
Oh, wow. That
Yeah.
is truly, like they say, water gravitates. So
Mhm.
you were meant to, start from source again. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, that's wonderful. And we all see the impact that Rare Patient Voice is making globally. I see that you guys have gone transcontinental. You're all over the place now, and doors are opening up. And yeah, which brings me to, first of all, before I go into the Rare Patient Voice angle, what is a rare disease?
So a rare disease, really the definition is any condition that in the US, so we different countries, have different definitions, but in the US, we say that it's anything that impacts 200,000 or fewer people.
Okay.
So, it could be a rare cancer, it could be a rare genetic condition. I've met people who they're one of six people in the world, or one person I met a few weeks ago was the only person in the world who had been diagnosed with this genetic condition. It doesn't have a name. It's just the
Oh,
mutation
wow.
they call it. So it impacts less than 200,000 people.
Mhm.
There I think 700 or 7,000 rare diseases. And they could be subtypes of other conditions. And it impacts, I believe, 30 million Americans are currently across all rare diseases are impacted by rare disease. So um, we might know people, we don't know what it is or what they have, but it's
Yes.
likely that we all know somebody,
Mhm.
who has a rare disease.
Absolutely. That's good to know because the day just passed on the 28th, as I had mentioned earlier. And for those people that we were celebrating, but like for neighbors and everyone that saw us with stripes and different colors, they were like, okay, rare disease, what is rare disease? And I went ahead to explain to them as well, because a couple of us have had rare cancers, and these are things that we have brought to the fore.
In a lot of big cities, they'll
Hmm.
light up their monuments with
Hmm.
these beautiful, vibrant colors
Yeah.
to commemorate Rare Disease Day. And
Yeah.
so I think it's the Empire State Building is on Rare Disease Day, has all of these
Yes.
magnificent colors. And there was actually this year, for the first time, there was a show in Times Square
Hmm.
with all of these paintings of patients with rare diseases. And so it's I'm so glad to see it coming to the forefront. It's not, these, parents and of small children who are just diagnosed with something that they've never heard of,
Yes.
they have a voice now, and they're coming
Yes.
forward and sharing, what's going on, and where they need help. And I think it's, to have it right there in Times Square on the big, jumbo,
Screen and everything.
amazing. Yeah, really amazing.
It's beautiful that there's now representation for them.
Absolutely.
And that would make research, scientists and everything push harder to
Mhm.
see that, something comes out of it for them to at least know what these diseases are,
Absolutely.
and their mutations as well.
Mhm.
So now to the nitty-gritty of the show, Rare Patient Voice. I'm so excited to be talking about this with you. What is the mission and vision of Rare Patient Voice?
So we want to be able to connect patients and family caregivers, so a mom, dad, and an adult child who's taking care of someone with a rare disease. We want to be able to connect them with opportunities to share their voices, and that might be through a focus group, an interview, a survey. We want them to be able to we want to connect them as we can, and that might include clinical research. Um,
Mhm.
you know, it's amazing some of the requests that we get. They're to a usability study to test clothing for people with movement disorders, or it might be looking at an ad campaign, or it might be looking at risk profiles, or just trying to understand the journey to diagnosis.
Mhm.
Having been in research for all these years, I understand the importance of actually talking to the people who are the experts. But it always surprises me when I go to patient events. So tomorrow I'm going to a patient event. It's neuroendocrine cancer patient
Okay.
event in outside of DC. And I'll meet patients at these events, and they'll say, well, why would anyone want to talk to me? Like, what? Well, how could I be involved in research? And, to me, that's that aha moment. Like, well, because you're the expert, you're the person who knows what what your day-to-day living is like. Your doctor knows a lot, but your doctor doesn't know about everything that you go through every day.
Mhm.
And so our mission is to connect those patients with as many opportunities as possible. They never have to agree, they never have to participate in anything, but if it's something they're interested in, and they want to share their expertise, we want to give
Mhm.
them that option. My role is really, I try to find as many opportunities for them as possible. So, I'm connecting with people and trying to, I listen to what they're doing, and, what kind of research they do. And then, well, do you ever test that with patients? Oh, we develop all these great products for patients. Do you test them with them? Do you talk to them and find out what they need? All of those things are, in some cases, it's becoming more of a standard practice now to involve patients in the development of these things. But there are still cases where people ask, what does the doctor think? And then proceed that way, and then taste it with patients at the end. But that's not really the best idea. You want to talk to patients first and find out, is this something they need? Is this something they want? Is this something they'll use? And then develop your prototype, if it was a device, or whatever, a program of some sort, because you want to give people want to share what they need. And it's important to give them that opportunity. So that's really our vision, is to connect every patient who wants to share their voice with an opportunity to do so.
Oh, it's honestly wonderful. So, you know, uh, in what ways has RPV extended a hand to patients? Aside from you going to these events and everything,
Mhm.
do you have a website? How do patients connect with you? Could you tell us
Sure.
that, for anybody that's watching, for those
Sure.
watching right now?
Absolutely. We have our website is rarepatientvoice.com. There's
Hmm.
a lot of information on there, different types of studies that you might be involved in. But we also, we share through our social media. We share opportunities where we're trying to recruit and are having a hard time, and encourage people to share that way too. We have a wonderful patient advocacy team that is so caring, and just really wants to make a difference with patients. And so they've been so active on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, trying to find new ways to connect with patients, because the more patients we can connect with, and it's partly about developing trust. They need to know that we're legit. We're going to, connect them with real research projects, and we pay them. Sorry, I don't even think I mentioned that. So we pay them $120 an hour, and
Okay.
we have paid more than $10 million to patients. So they need to trust and know that we're, a legit organization. And when they do and have a great experience, then they tell friends and those friends and those friends, and then more people want to sign up, and then those people get more opportunities to share. So, you can connect with us through our Facebook, our Instagram, our TikTok, our
Mhm.
website. You can email me. Really, we are a very small but very approachable organization. If you want to ask questions, feel free to reach out. We have a frequently asked questions um, tab on our page. But if you have another question, feel free to reach out to one of us. We're happy to chat.
Yes, and you're on LinkedIn, you're on Facebook, you're on
Mhm.
Instagram, we follow you and you have a great following as well. So we see all that, the advocacy and the impact involved, and we couldn't be more prouder to be affiliated with you, Cancer Convos with Grace B. Thank you so much for all that you do. Um, Now, in recent times, you've exploded, you've gone global. What's next on the horizon for Rare Patient Voice?
So we try to be
What's the bigger
very
picture?
we try to be very intentional about how we grow. So there are lots of companies out there doing, connecting people with research, and but we're very unique and specialized, and recruit really from going to patient events, and through our patient advocacy team that connects with referral partners. So when we thought about branching out into other countries, we wanted to make sure it was where we could still have that same kind of high touch, go to patient events where we can go to, and connect with advocacy groups and support groups, and smaller networks
Mhm.
around the world. So the other piece of that is we wanted to also make sure that even though lots of people may speak English, it doesn't mean that's how they want to receive the information about us. So we needed to build websites that were for, in different languages. So we started out with, the UK, obviously we could, that was an easy one for us. But
Mhm.
Germany, France, Italy, Spain, we had to develop websites specifically for those languages and make sure that, they um, had all of the same information that our website had, or, and people were able to connect with us that way. And then, the kind of further downstream impact is we needed to have connections with research, our internal research teams, our project managers who could communicate in other languages. So we work with a team that they're amazing, does our database management, and they've developed all kinds of, it's an online platform for us to deliver research and surveys and so on. So Q1 Tech is that company, and they have an offshoot, which is called MR Tech Ops. And we work with their project managers, kind of work with us as well. And so many of them are multilingual. So when we have a study that's in Germany, and if a patient has a question, we have
Hmm.
someone who can answer that question.
In
So
German.
yes, in German. So I say all that to say it's a very slow process for us to like evolve and move into another country. Um, so we've been asked, what about, Asia? Could you move there? We have to make sure we can support the languages and make sure that we can, you know, when these patients come to us, they want to participate, they want to be involved. And the last thing we want to do is not have resources that support them properly. So, next on the horizon, I could see like South America because we have a Spanish website, but then we
Yeah.
have a Portuguese website too. So we, need to do that. We've been asked about moving into Africa again, multi languages that we would need to consider and
Just French and English and
that's
maybe
it.
Spanish. Yes. I'm African, so I know. So
Right,
once you're
right.
ready, let me know.
Okay, I will reach out.
Hmm.
It's there, it's all about the patients for us and making sure that, if we make a commitment to do something like, going into another country and inviting them to participate in research, we want to be able to support them
Hmm.
and give them the, appropriate opportunities. So I don't know. I mean, we're just kind of gotten our feet wet. We've been a little over a year in Europe. We did also branch out to Australia and New Zealand, but
Hmm.
again, that was just our English website. So that
Yeah.
that was easy. But it has to be very intentional, and we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing and we can support the patients and give them appropriate opportunities. So I don't have an answer for exactly what's next, but
No.
it might be in my mind, South America would be the next one because we
Hmm.
do get a lot of research requests for South America.
Hmm.
Um, and again, we have the website that does serve at least most of that country.
Yes, and they're nearer. It's nearer here and for the population as well, because there are a lot of patients that are drawn from there. So I believe South America would be the next best bet before you go to Asia or Africa.
We'll see.
But yeah, it's a good one, being intentional and with those areas, with those regions. It's the bigger picture. Once you have the picture, you know where you want black to go or white to go. I mean, you
Exactly.
visualize.
Yeah, and it's, we have a great project management team. We have a great business development team. We have a great patient advocacy team. Everyone's, doing in it to do the right thing and
Mhm.
making an effort to support the patients where we can, and we want to so all of those, when someone comes to us and says, oh, can you help us recruit patients in Brazil, we're like, no, but then we'll try to find them someone else who can, because we want those patients there to have opportunities even if it's not through us.
Mhm. Absolutely. The patient comes first
That's
anyway.
it,
You've just said it. The patient comes first.
for sure.
And that is the driving force, of the organization.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. So I know we're almost running out of time because you have to prepare, and I have another guest as well after you. So with your hectic schedule, how do you manage to keep, the balance?
Hmm. Hmm. You know what?
Work-life balance.
Work-life balance. I think, you know, I really love my job. I
Hmm.
really do. I love what I do. So, it doesn't, sometimes I might work at night,
Hmm.
but I don't feel that that's a bad thing. But then, some weekends I'm not even looking at my computer at all. Do you know what I mean? So
Yes.
when I need to do it, if there's something I have to do kind of on an off hour, I'll do that thing. But a lot of times it's just, I'm on LinkedIn and I'm connecting with people, and maybe it's
Hmm.
at night when we're watching TV, but it's fun. And I know that every time I do that, I'm finding more opportunities for our patients,
Yes.
connecting with people who maybe they're creating a new wearable device for patients and they want to test it and that'll improve someone's life. So,
Mhm.
you know, I think the other thing, and work-life balance is important. The other thing is trying to make sure that I take time to do other things. Like I really love yoga.
Mm.
So when I was at this conference just this week, I took time to do yoga in the morning, and
Mhm.
and that was wonderful. Do I do it as often as I should or would love to? No, I don't. But I'm going to try to do more. Kind of carve out a little more time for things like that, because that is important. To take care of yourself as well and give yourself time. So
Yeah. We
we're
don't need to
traveling,
be so burnt out because we can get carried away,
right?
and
That's
it's
true.
no good. Yeah.
We're traveling a lot now,
Hmm.
just because all the conferences are back up and we're having, different, we go to different, some are patient events, some are research events, some are rare events. So, and clinical research events. So,
Hmm.
kind of, we're spread all over the place. But the amazing thing is we have a great team of people who can also go. So before it was just Wes and I going to everything. And now, Tiffany will go, or Laura will go, or Jennifer will go, and they're all, amazing and know kind of how to tell our story and
Hmm.
how to, engage,
Hmm.
whether it's a patient or with a potential client, how, what we do to, connect with the patients and bring them to them can help them to be successful. And that's, a really great thing too.
That's so wonderful. Yeah, that's brilliant. And it's good to have that's your support system. So your support system is what actually carries things along, and makes things happen if you and Wes are not there.
For
That's
sure.
brilliant. Yeah. So this is a dicey one. I always ask my guests if you could change one thing in the healthcare system, what would that be, please?
Change one thing. So, with rare conditions, if there is something available on the market for them, it's extraordinarily expensive. So if I could change one thing, I
Hmm.
would make medications free. I think I think it just, if there's something that can help you, um, either, whether it's a treatment to, prolong, a good quality life, or whether it's a cure, why I don't ever want to have to hear someone say I can't afford that. So
Yes,
I would make medications free.
brilliant. No, yeah, because we hear it all the time. Um, if you don't have Cadillac insurance or if you have a job that doesn't cover your medication and things like that, we hear these stories and it's heartbreaking. So I would say the same too, that I just wish, medications could be free. Pam, what is one fun thing about you?
Oh boy, one fun thing about me. I well, so I love to sing.
You do. So do
Terrible.
I.
I
Are
have
you
a
kidding?
terrible voice. No.
Oh,
So I sing. I mean, when I'm driving in the car, I'm Adele. I'm
oh,
I'm, I'm
wow.
belting it
That is
out.
nice.
Yeah, and I know words to lots of songs, and I'm singing loud and proud. But if anybody heard me, Wes heard me sing a couple of bars one time, and he's like, "Now I know why you don't sing."
Oh, oh boy. No, we should arrange to go to a karaoke one day and then,
But yeah,
sing out
I'll
loud.
do it. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. But yeah, I do. I love to sing songs, but I can only do it when I'm alone.
Oh, no. You have to sing where people are around.
Oh,
We'll work on that.
I want people to still like me.
No, people would always love you, Pam. Pam, it was wonderful to have you here. Honestly, so honored to host you and to learn more about what your career path and what you are up to at Rare Patient Voice. I hope I can bring Wes on very soon when he's, opportune. But thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it. And God bless you.
You're
Thank you so
welcome. Thank
much.
you so much. I loved being here.
Thank you. So before I sign you out, let me speak to the audience. So, my dear audience and friends, there you have it. You have been listening to the beautiful and amazing Pam Cusick, Senior Vice President of Rare Patient Voice, who has shared her insights about the rare disease and all that it takes, and making sure that the rare disease patients and their caregivers are represented, have a voice, are listened to, and all that they do. Hopefully, we'll be able to bring the president on, Mr. Wes Michael, to come give his own take on the rare disease. And before we end, I would like to say don't forget to do your medical checks because until there's a cure, prevention is the cure. Ciao, ciao, and God bless. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pam.
Thank you,
See you
Grace.
soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.